Guys, they're telling us that inflation is on its way down. Did you know that they don't include the price of food and housing in that calculation? They also don't include the price of classic and collector cars on Bring a Trailer. We're going to talk about that. We're going to make some predictions. We've got real guests tonight. That's right. We've got the host from Everyday Driver. This is going to be a total nerd out. This is Bid Nerds. The bidding starts right now. Bid Nerds is your YouTube car game show. All right, guys, welcome. We are getting after it. Look at this. It's like the Brady Bunch. My name is John Polnick. I'm the host for you tonight of Bid Nerds. We're coming to you live from the Container Park in downtown Las Vegas. Down in the lower corner, I got to get my angles right this time. Over there's my partner. Everybody recognize Michael Deeb down there on the lower right-hand side of your screen. And right next to me, oh my gosh, we've got Paul from Everyday Driver. And then down below me, we've got Todd from Everyday Driver. I'm so excited to have you guys on the show tonight.
Thank you.
Paul, how are you? We'll get to Todd in a second because he's going to say something cooler than all of us, right?
No, thank you guys. I've got the chat up here. I'm seeing everybody, and I love the community that JP and Deeb have built. So hello to everyone. Really appreciate these guys for having us on. We're very excited to be here, and we're just learning about how the show works. So we've got the cars pulled up, and we're diving right in. Thank you, gents.
Welcome, Todd, guys. Who had to pay you to slum it with us tonight?
I thought I paid to be here. I don't know. I'm just excited to be here at all. I just heard that there's no prep required, which I'm really glad about because I was like, wait a minute, I don't know what I'm doing. So I'm really, really excited to be here because I think you guys are the experts.
Par for the course on this show.
Yeah. You guys are the experts, JP. And I can't believe how many people are in the chat. I'm prepared to be schooled right now. That's where I'm at.
JP, sure. If you caught that, Todd said he paid to be here, which means Lucas the Bid Turn is out there in Pennsylvania collecting his Christmas bonus in January.
No, I got a thing. It said I thought it was a check, but it turned out to be a bill. So I just,
yeah, exactly. Right, invoice.
Yeah. Sorry about that. All right, guys, enough screwing around. It's time to get some predictions. We've got a big show for you tonight. We've got some amazing cars on the list. We're going to talk about Ed Bolian's car from the last episode. Our big theme on the last episode was talking about whether or not YouTuber sweat is worth its weight in gold. If a car owned by someone like Paul or Todd were for sale on Bring a Trailer, would it bring more money? Well, we got a couple of cars that were owned by Ed Bolian. Guys, one of the things that we do on this show, it's very weird for YouTube. It's kind of probably one of the reasons why nobody watches the show. But we hold ourselves accountable. We always start off every episode by going over the predictions we made on the last one. And so we'll give you guys a chance to play along. Michael Deeb, what is the first car on the list?
Yeah, guys, we're just trying to see who's laundering money. And so it's always fun to reconcile our bids against the hammer. JP, we are going to circle right back to this stunning Lamborghini Mercielago LP650 coupe with the 6-speed manual transmission. This is, in fact, a car that was previously owned by himself, Ed Bolian, the man for the VinWiki guy. Ed joined us on the podcast last time to talk about this car and talk about a Mercedes that's coming up in just a few moments. But this was a car that he absolutely loved. He sold it as part of a little bit of cash collecting so that he could go out and buy a Bugatti Veyron. And lo and behold, he said that the Bugatti was disappointing and that he loves the Mercy even better. Now, he's owned 9 of them, and I think he still has 1 or 2. But this was a car that he had. And again, this car winds up being like one of 23 in the U.S. that was an LP640 coupe with a 6-speed manual. And it winds up being just one of 1 in that configuration, painted in the eye-catching Monterey blue paint. So our car sets itself apart not only because Ed Bolian owned it, but because it's got a whopping 53,000 miles on the odometer. This car has absolutely been driven. Rumor has it that it is perhaps the second highest mileage odometer of any of the 6-speed manual Murciélagos out there in the world. So the big question is, as Mercies are starting to sell for like 1.5 and 1.6, and in some cases 1.8 with ridiculously low odometers, what would a car with 53,000 miles and a celebrity ownership attachment run and hammer for on Bring a Trailer as a premium listing? Now, these are good assets. It's a super rare car. and we got all up on the ether. I jumped in and thought that this car might only suffer a couple $100,000 because of the odometer. My bid being high at $1,364,000. JP bid after me. He went just a tiny bit over at $1,400,640. And then Ed Bolian, ever more pragmatic than me and Dingle Dong over there, he came underneath both of us at simply $1,250,000. Now, again, guys, this winds up being one of the higher mileage cars out there. It has had some paint work. The leather has been done and redone, and the wheels and the calipers have been repainted. So this is not by any stretch a virgin car with high miles. This is a car that's had its share. So what do you think a big premium supercar with celebrity ownership might have hammered for on BAT just a couple days ago? Paul, why don't you go first?
It's got some provenance. I'm looking at all the photos you're posting up here. It's, a little bit of provenance. And I'm going to say 1.1 even would be my guess for that car. Just, 1.1 flat.
Hey,
Absolutely.
before
Todd,
Deeb, hold on before we give Todd a shot. Just want to mention to everyone who's watching, if they're new to the show, we always put the list of cars in the description below. The links are there. So if you want to skip ahead and cheat and look at what the numbers are, you can go ahead and click on those. And you can also look at the pictures at your own pace. Todd, what do you think of the car and what do you think it went for?
I think it's spectacular. I think it's gorgeous, and you get to. Sorry, it struck me. It's that thing you see at the Cars and Coffee where the guy has the placard for why it's a one of one. But you did get there, so that's good. But the thing I wonder about these, you were asking about YouTube sweat earlier. The thing I wonder about these is I feel like the only real YouTube bump comes on weird cars, because I think if it's a car that has got market interest anyway, like a car like this does, they're going up. I feel like then it still settles back into mileage and usage. And I think if you have something oddball that YouTube owned, then it's going to get weird extra numbers for reasons people can't explain because, oh my gosh, it was the stupid YouTube car. But an exotic, I don't know that it helps, especially if it got driven. So if they're going, you were saying like 1.3, 1.4 for a really pristine one, I think Paul's close. I think 1.1 because maybe 1.2, but I'm gonna go 1. I'll just go below Paul. I'll say 1 because I think that the miles do matter here more than the YouTube provenance.
Which I'm still boggled.
All right, very
these
good.
$1 million cars. That's still insane.
Isn't that crazy?
I agree with that.
And
we're
talking about $1 million here.
Yeah, and the more recent comps are actually 1.5, 1.6, and then like a 1,200 mile one went for like 1.8. Again, this car's got a ton of miles at just 53,000 miles, but some paint work and some interior that's been redone. So somebody has spent some significant money on this car, and let's not forget how expensive it would be just to insure it and keep it, maintained and on the road. I bet the clutch is $50,000. So, this is not for the faint of wallet. But Todd used some logic. It is beautiful. Todd used some logic and backed himself into position 1 because our car hammered for only $900,000 where it sold on 89 bids. So a ton of action. 89 bids is a super high bid number. And $900,000, there's a couple things I want to unpack here. 1, it didn't cross the $1 million threshold like most of us thought it might. But 2, that the seller was willing to let it go for that number. So I'm going to say well bought and well sold because it doesn't look like they were holding out for something that was perhaps truly unrealistic. 89 bids, $900,000, and a new owner. Congratulations to all those involved. Todd, well done on your first shot out of the gate. JP, what do you make of that result? Because there was a lot going on there.
Well, you still got to remember that the last time this car sold, which wasn't that long ago, it was about $700-something thousand. So that's a good couple of $100,000 in the seller's pocket. I don't know, Paul, Todd, have you guys thought of like sweating and putting in a bottle and just selling that by itself, and maybe people could just sprinkle it inside their cars when they sell them?
Yeah,
Yikes.
I don't know.
You give us a lot more value than I think we actually have, but I appreciate the vote for sure. I mean, who knows?
But
again,
growth industry.
The weird, as I said, the weird thing here is I do think that the oddball cars, it helps. You can take something that's going to sell for nothing and a YouTuber owned it and you can double or triple your money because we're talking about low budget cars. But these high end stuff, I also think, and maybe I'm wrong here, but I feel like that YouTube everybody has an exotic content. The peak is behind us. You know, I feel like we hit the peak, and now YouTubers with exotic cars is less interesting. So I wonder if that's a factor too.
Right.
For sure.
Very
All right,
good.
guys, let us know what you think of the results of this Lambo owned by Ed Bolian. And Todd, we're going to put your theory to the test with this next car, also owned by the same YouTuber, but not quite in the same price range. What's the next car on the list, Michael Deeb?
All right, JP. Our good friend Chris Carbine last year purchased Ed Bolian's old 2002 Mercedes-Benz S55 AMG that he used in the 2015 running of the 2904 from New York to LA, and actually won that event outright in this actual car. So the 2904 is like a cannonball run, where you travel from New York to LA driving 2,904 miles. However, the parameters for the rally are different in that you have to participate in a car that you bought for less than $2,904. Ed Bolian did just that when he picked up this clapped out S55 with 113,000 miles on it. Now, they do allow you to spend some money on safety equipment, and Ed repaired the ABC system, the air ride suspension, and retrofitted a 75-gallon fuel cell that would allow him to go from New York to LA on just 3 stops for gas, which is mind-numbing, absolutely mind-numbing. But anyway, he had a blast in the car. He sold it quite some time ago, but somebody put it on Cars and Bids, and our good friend of the show, Chris Carbine, down there in New Orleans, Louisiana at Carbine Motor Cars, decided, perhaps after a mint julep or two, to go ahead and buy this thing. And so Chris purchased the car for about $8,000 off of Cars and Bids, shipped it to JP in Vegas, where it made a cameo at JP and Chef's. There's Chef right there. Chef's Vegas Auto Fest at Red Rock Country Club in September. The car was had the most featured T-box presentation of the whole show, which was hilarious. And then JP took some rad photos and videos of the car, and we put it up on BAT and ran it no reserve. We used the car as a catalyst to trick Ed Bolian into coming onto the show with us and regaling us with stories about his adventures in this very car. So we ran the car no reserve. Now, our friends at Classic.com remind us that when it comes time to look at an S55, the average selling price of one of these cars is about $12,000 in the secondary market. We know for a fact that Chris Carbine paid over $8,000 for this car just a half year ago. I recused myself from bidding, but JP thought that the car would do better than what Chris paid for it. He said $9,900. And then Ed Bolian, a little bit more pragmatic, said $7,500 and thought that Cars and Bids, where Chris had purchased it, was a better platform for such a quirky car than us running it as the Bid Nerds on BAT, which is a very interesting fact. So, Todd, we'll start with you this time. Here we go. We got a quirky car with incredibly quirky provenance and a teeny bit of a celebrity endorsement by having him on the podcast to our 4 subscribers. But there we go. We ran it no reserve. What do you think what do you think of the car, and what do you think a car like this would do? Again, every warning light, salvage title. This is not arrive and driving home unless you live from Vegas to Henderson. We're not going far at all. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but yet it's built to go cross country, which is even crazier. I mean, 75
10 years ago.
Tank. Yeah, exactly. Fair point. Yeah, let's use the fuel cell. What a bizarre thing to pull up and use. But okay. So last bought for $8,000. I don't. Here's the other thing. I think the fact that Ed owned it, but a while ago, takes the bump out of it. So I'm gonna say. I'm going to say 6,500 or 7.
There you go. Not a bad guess. 6,500.
Well, wait, you got to pick one. It's pick one. You got one number. You don't get 2 numbers.
6,500. Sorry.
6,500. Okay. All right, Paul.
Ooh, I am looking at all the photos you're showing, and that thing looks pretty beat down now. It looks pretty rough.
Look how good it looks in the video, though. It's gorgeous. This is a gorgeous, gorgeous car.
And that video was shot when? Was that a year or two ago?
I shot this last week.
Last week? Okay. So there's proof that it's running and driving. There you are. Okay, I see that. I am not convinced that this is worth a lot of money. and I don't know that the provenance that race is no longer a thing, is it not? That race is still not going on, is it not?
That's a good question. I think it is, but I'm not 100% sure.
Or is it still going? Okay. Maybe it was a thing for a while, but I'm going to say
still going
$5
right
grand.
now, Paul. Still constantly going, yeah.
Maybe it's just constantly going. I'm going to say $5 grand flat.
$5,000. And Paul, you would be the closest. Our car hammered for just $3,800 where it's sold on 18 bids. So Chris Carbine didn't exactly recoup his money, but he certainly had the fun he was looking for. A very tiny happy ending for this auction. But thanks to Chris Carbine for trusting us with the car. Thanks to Ed Bolian for jumping on the podcast with us and being a great sport and playing the game. And it was certainly fun for JP to have this car mobbing around Vegas for a little while. And it was fun to have it at Vegas Auto Fest.
It's still in my garage. I want it out of there, Deeb. I'm done with this thing. But here's the news. There's breaking news on this thing. It turns out we might be getting a second bite at the apple. The buyer, the high bidder, is Bubkus. He is crickets. We haven't heard anything. We have a fink, a Welch. This person might be banned from BAT. The car, how much longer is this stupid thing going to be in my garage? And are we going to get another shot at this, and will we do better? And here's the big question, really. Should we try again on BAT where we can sell the whole idea that, hey, the buyer flaked? Or are we better off to go back to cars and bids? Paul, what do you think?
I think you should take it over to the Vegas airport. I know of a bail bond lawyer's office, and it turns into a used car dealership by night, and they park all the cars in the parking lot. And so after 6 p.m. is when that really comes alive, and you could probably sell it for 11 grand. That's when we got the Quattroporte.
Yeah, Paul, that's good advice. I was going to try to go down on East Fremont here and sell it to one of the many pimps down there, but I realized that there with the 70-gallon tank in the back, there's no room for dead hookers, so it's really not going to work out. Todd, what do you think we should do? Right?
Here's the only problem, because I like the idea of putting it back on Bring a Trailer, because you can say, hey, it's back and better than ever because the bidder flaked. But that's going to cause people to realize what it went for the last time. So the chances of going for the same or even above are almost zero. So you might need to tap the other market of cars and bids just because it's a fresh take.
Yep.
That's good advice. It'll be interesting to see what happens next. Chris Carbine will do the right thing, I'm sure. And when we put it back up, we'll talk about it again. Maybe we get Ed Bolian back. I don't know. Or maybe we shouldn't. Maybe that won't help. I don't know. Let us know what you guys think we should do. And if anyone wants to buy this thing, it's still in my garage. Come and get it. I'll give you the keys. And you can keep it in your garage until Chris winds up selling it. All right, guys, let's move on. What's the next car on the list? This next one was not owned by a YouTuber. We're going to talk about some regular cars here. What do we got?
All right. So this car, JP, we're going to circle back to the 1997 Land Rover Defender 90 turbo diesel right-hand drive that Chris Carbine was selling for a client out of Carbine Motor Cars down in New Orleans, Louisiana, on a clean Louisiana title. On cars and bids this time, which is the right platform for this type of quirky car. JP, our car is showing 113,000 miles, but it looks like it has been at least rotisserie restored and cleaned up. There's a few modifications and a few little things that wouldn't have come from Land Rover, but the car looks handsome. It's just interesting to see the short wheelbase with the pickup truck back end. And then we've got a diesel, we've got a manual, and we got right-hand drive. Now, JP, typically you and I see right-hand drive, and as far as hammer, it's the kiss of death. Nobody in this country pays top dollar for right-hand drive, especially if they can get the same car in left-hand drive. But people seem to fall in love with this one, and I think this car's result is going to surprise you. Our friends at Classic.com tell us that a Land Rover Defender 90, which would be a left-hand drive car in our country, is a $48,000 conversation in the secondary market. Chris's car was up to 35 grand when we were covering it, and it still had 2 days to go until it closed. So with that in mind, I thought I was reading the tea leaves and it would get to $40,000. JP, you took the over by going 40,100. And then Ed Bolian, who joined us as third nerd, weighed in with his thing, and then right-hand drive didn't seem to bother him because he went way above us at $55,000 for the hammer of this handsome but interesting right-hand drive Land Rover Defender 90 pickup. Paul, your turn to go first. Any love for a diesel right-hand drive tractor? I mean, you could barely drive this car on the freeway with the gearing. What do you think this car would have hammered for on Cars and Bids?
Ooh, that's too nice to drive out on your ranch, I think. That's not going to be something you're going to drive around and use for, I think, what it should be used for, and that is just work. But it looks pretty nice. Those photos are quite nice. I'm going to know about the benchmark, but I think there is going to be some love for this. I'm going to go right at 50K even is my my prediction on that. Excellent guess. Todd, where you at?
This is an oddball to me because I always feel like people, there's a segment of the audience that falls in love with these and throws all rational thought out of the window. And so I've known people that have paid, low six figures for these kind of things. And I'm sitting here scratching my head and I know that happens. And I just find that inexplicable. The right-hand drive, I do think is a problem here, except for the super quirky rare body. So I'm sitting here going, this could shock me and go into six figures, and I'd have to just be like, okay, there's those folks again. Or it could be the thing where people look at it and go right-hand drive and it's diesel and I don't want it, and so it's going to go for 30. So I'm literally scratching my head and confused. I'm going to go higher than I want to go. I'm going to say 70 because Perfect. I think that's irrational, but I'm going to say 70 for those reasons.
Absolutely. And irrational wins again. Our car hammering for an astounding $76,500 where it sold on 28 bids. Chris Carbine can afford to take a bath on an S55 AMG. JP, keep the car. I'll send you the title right now.
Let's do it. All right, now I suddenly like the S55. Guys, this has got to be the Hippie Sips sale of the week. Our friends over at Hippie Sips. Paul, is this stuff legal in Utah? Probably not. Check out hippiesips.com and get yourself a case legally or illegally or whatever. Enjoy that stuff. Dude, guys, this is the kind of thing, I'm not going to say who, but someone in our sphere had a chance to buy this, at a very low price. And none of us thought that the right-hand drive was really worth the squeeze, right? I mean, nobody wants a right-hand drive, especially if you're listexic like me. How many times, guys, have you had a chance to buy something at, let's just say, below half of what this actually sold for, and then saw it sell for so much more, like immediately? Paul, do you got anything that you've had, any ones that got away?
Regrets. We're talking
regrets.
Massive regret. I have not personally. I actually just talked to a friend of mine and used to work with him in tech. He is the Viz manager for Scout Motors, James, and he just mentioned he got an R32 Skyline, one of his dream cars, and also right-hand drive. He did not tell me how much he paid, but I thought it was pretty interesting that, I think right-hand drive, especially in the JDM cars and these kind of things, I could see it. I mean, it's absurd money to me, but I guess, it's a thing, right? So all right, we'll go.
Todd, how about you? What's the worst got away fish that got away story you got?
Well, I'm going to go real personal, and that is I had to sell my absolutely perfect 1991 red twin-turbo 300ZX, and I sold it for mid-20s, and I knew when I sold it, it was one of the, money's a real thing. It was like, I need the money out of that car. I'm not going to keep driving it. We've done our content with it, and I sold it, and I thought, the minute it left my life, I thought, I will never touch another one of those for that money ever again, because I think a clean one like that is only going to go walking away. So that was a bummer. And then it's not really as personal, but I feel like every time I talk to somebody about what they bought a classic Porsche for, I guessed lower than they bought it for every single time. It doesn't matter what they're like, what do you think I got it for? And I'm always way low.
Boy, that shit's
because we remember.
Yeah, exactly. Totally. We're all old enough to know. All right, guys, let us know what you think of that RHD and RHD right-hand drive Rover, and tell us your fish that got away story in the comments below. And let's move on. What's the next car, Deep?
All right, congratulations to Chris Carbine on selling the heck out of that little Defender 90. Wow, what that's a lot of money for a paperweight. JP, our good friends over at Fantasy Junction here in Emeryville have a very interesting kit car. It's an LMK branded 917 that is powered by an air-cooled flat six, twin plug 3.6 liter flat six. And I'm sure that motor built's probably making 400 horsepower. This car full of gas probably weighs 1,200 pounds or less than your uncle's Carmen Ghia. What a car with, as JP likes to say, I always love stealing his takes because I've been listening to him talk for 5 years. What's the use case for this car, JP? You know what I'm saying? Like, where are you going to drive it? They even took it out here. This is in Alameda, JP, by the airfield, the old airfield on the water across the bay. And they did a little driving video, and it didn't look like they were speeding. It looked like they were going 25 miles an hour. And I thought, man, the only way you're really going to sell a car like this is if you put it on a track and let somebody take it to redline and bang through the gears. A premium listing, nonetheless. Our car came to market, and believe it or not, JP, there is a column for Classic.com with regards to 917. Actually, with 917 kit cars, but no data in it as of yet. However, when I looked it up on Classic.com, I saw the revealed asking price that Fantasy Junction had for the car. That number, $445,000. JP, our car was at like 250 grand when we covered it on Sunday night. I thought it would only get a few bids more. Thus, my bid was $300,000. JP, you took the under, going $299,917, 917, and Ed Bolian took the over, going above me at $340,000. I take it back, fellas. When the car was listed, when we were looking at it, it was right around $200,000 or $240,000 or something like that. So, Todd, let's have you go first. You know, JP makes a really great point when we talk about a use case for a car. We ran into use case when we were trying to sell the S55 Cannonball car. So when you look at something like this, it's not even remotely street legal. You couldn't even drive it in your own driveway at home in Utah. Yeah. What do you think somebody's going to sell a kit car like this? Even a premium listing on BAT, the largest platform in the world, I still feel like it's hard to find an ass for this seat. Todd, your thoughts and a bid.
I agree with you. I mean, look, we the other thing that we have is Hooked on Driving, where we run track days all over the nation, and that's about the only place I can think of where you bring this. You're going to have to. You got to have a trailer. You got to take it to a track day, and then how concerned are you with running it with a bunch of other people on it? How concerned are you that it's going to break down? Who's going to service it? All those kind of. I'll be honest with you. The numbers you already gave me for where this was when you talked about it are above what I think makes sense. So I'm already at a place where I'm like, I'm just throwing a dart now because this is fascinating. And here, I guess the thing about it is this is the 917 you can drive. That is the thing. Yeah. You aren't driving a museum piece, so you can drive it, and you can be the coolest guy in the paddock, and I get that. But I am astonished that this is that close to $300,000 already. Both you guys picked $300,000. I can't believe it was above 200. I can't in good conscience go above 220 because I'm just sitting here going, I can't believe we broke 200.
There you go. Good bid. Paul, your turn.
Wow. The prices that you quoted, what was it? 400? Were you saying for the research?
445. 445 was the asking price by the selling dealer called Fantasy Junction in Emeryville.
Knowing that this was a replica is how we're classifying it, yes?
Right.
But to have a classic like this where you don't have to worry about driving a real 917 on track, you can't drive this at Monterey Car Week. It's not a real 917. Right. So the fact that you could just not worry about this, I guess that holds and it's a Porsche technically, right? Are we calling this a Porsche? I guess
it has a Porsche engine. It's only 6 cylinders instead of 12 like the real 917. But yeah, there you go. Porsche-esque. Porsche adjacent.
There we go. And it was at 200. So I'm gonna go over 300. I'm gonna go 325 for this.
325. All right, Paul's all in on the hippie livery. JP, we should get JB on the phone and tell Hippie Sips to cut a check for
this. Is the car they should have got, right?
This is the car they should have got
on there. Come on.
And the reason why they should have got it is because it's still available. Our car hammered at just $247,000. So I think, Todd, that really puts you the closest at 220 again, we're talking semi-educated guesses. 247, failure to sell at that number. Again, the asking price that Fantasy Junction had for the car was $445,000, and the car remains available here in the Bay Area. 35 bids, JP. But again, trying to find the person that's got the money and the desire to own something so, something so rare like this is like trying to fly in a plane through the eye of a needle. I just don't get it.
There's only one way that this makes sense, and that's if, again, you're a YouTuber and on your show you're coming up with an idea. You're going, if you could have the perfect day on the track, what car would you pick? I know a certain someone who recently came up with that idea, but he didn't pick this car. Todd, wouldn't this be the perfect car for the track day? For the perfect track day?
But here's the issue. I love that you referenced that. Thank you for saying that. We did just cover this on our podcast, and one of the things was what's the perfect day for your track car. But I actually think the reason this isn't perfect for that is I think the perfect track car is something that you're not completely held back by what if something happens. Now, I realize there's a level of money where you could buy this and still feel that way. I certainly don't. But I feel like you can't have a car that you're worried about. You've just got to go out there and drive it as hard as you can. And I don't know that this car suggests that to the buyer, both in what it's going to cost you and then what if it goes wrong, what's it going to feel like to drive. I think this car is going to feel daunting. And honestly, for a track day, you want something that just says, let's go faster.
Anthony says the reason why I didn't make it is because it's right-hand drive and that I missed that. Paul, what do you think of this result?
Good news, everyone. These are a bargain. I guess too high, but we can all have them now, which is great news if you want to take it to the track. I remember playing with these as slot cars, and I just thought, oh my gosh, if I could ever drive one of these. So this is the car to share it at that low price, that low price of, what was it, $247?
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
All right, guys, let's let us know what you think of the results of that 917. We got one more car to reconcile, and we got to get to new predictions. We've got the host from Everyday Driver here, so we really want to get to the good part. Deeb, let's just do this last car really quick. Let's do a speed round.
Okay, this P-car market was showing a 1988 Renault Alpine GTA V6 Turbo. This car is showing 47,000 kilometers and is, I believe, on a New York title. It was out of Huntington Station, New York, so I'm going to guess it was on a New York title, but I don't know. It could have been Montana or something. But this is a car that was only sold in Europe. We never had Renaults from this generation. This was a car that was meant to go after like the 928 and
How much? Let's get to the numbers. Let's go. This one's so lame.
All right. Well, all right. Our car sold for $27,138 on 22 bids. Paul, is that a good buy?
27,000 seems a bit generous for that thing. I mean, cool. A little generous for me. I'd
Todd,
say
your
under
thoughts?
20.
Yeah, under 20. Good number.
I was going to say for the oddball factor, I was going to guess mid-20s because I think it's not. I mean, you want to think this is going to go for 50, but then who's the buyer? Because who's the person that's going to spend 50 on this because it's unique? So then you get people that are just looking for unique stuff, but over 20 for sure, under 30. It sounds like that's where it went, but I was thinking, mid-20s, and there's where we are. I guess I got close. That's good.
Good.
Yeah, the seller actually said in the comments that his reserve was 30 and he was in it for 45. So he was actually the rare case of someone being reasonable on P-Car Market. All right, guys, we're going to come right back with predictions with actual experts. Stick around. We'll be right back. Hey guys, you're probably looking at your watch and wondering if Bid Nerds will ever end. So you better talk to our friends at Our Smiths to make sure your Rolex, Tag Heuer, AP, or any fine timepiece is in tip-top shape. Our Smiths. Fine Swiss repair. All right, welcome back, everybody. It is time for predictions. We've got real experts, the hosts from Everyday Driver. We've got Todd and Paul. Let's get after it. What's the first car to make a prediction? Michael Deeb. I love this one. Ooh, I'm excited.
All right, JP. So you selected a 1975 Ferrari Dino 308 GT4. Yuri sent me the same car, so we'll give Yuri the credit for selecting the car tonight. Our car is listed out of Wichita, Kansas, and is showing 51,000 miles on the odometer. But the big news here, JP, is we have a car, much like an air-cooled or a G-body Generation 911. There's quite a few things on this car that are no longer stock, and it makes it compelling and interesting. 75s are smog exempt in California, so you can have fun with the motor and not have to worry about the car passing smog. Also, when we go back to this generation from Ferrari, this was without question the best handling, best driving car of the era. Everybody fell in love with the Pininfarina design, Magnum PI 308 GTSIs and the 308 GTBs, and even the lightweight fiberglass car. None of those can hold a candle to the slightly longer wheelbase, slightly different geometry that the Bertone design GT4 Dinos had. Now, this car, JP, the motor came out, they overbored it. So it originally was 2.9. It might still be only 3 liters, but they overboard the car. So you're probably going to get a little horsepower there. I'm sure they rejet the carburetors and put an exhaust on it. We've also got 16-inch Lancia Stratos rally car wheels. These cars are affectionately referred to as coffins. If you do a close-up, JP, each of the 5 stars is shaped like an old-fashioned coffin. And so the nickname for this design of the wheels are called coffins. The car's been repainted. There are sheepskins over the leather interior, but I went through the entire bucket of photos, and at the very end, there is a picture of 2 beautiful front seats in leather outside of the car. So one is going to assume that the leather under the sheepskins is good, and that would make this car pretty cool. But here's the rub, JP. Some guys who are into Porsches will pay a small premium or not take a big deduction if a car has been modified with, Bilstein suspension or, go from fuel injection to carburetors and a prototipo and an Alpine stereo, stuff like that. The Ferrari market, on the other hand, tends to be extremely, as finicky as the Porsche market is, the Ferrari market is more finicky still. And so I wonder aloud, as we take a dive on this gorgeous 308 GT4, if the mods are going to help or hurt it. And so, JP, I hand it over to you. You selected this car. All the eyeball in the whittle. I love the flat gray paint and the contrast of the gold wheels. I love the original blue carpet and the full black leather interior. We've got a smaller diameter Momo steering wheel that's probably worth $2,000. It's a very cool car and would be an excellent driver. The question is, JP, will it bring the money? What do you think?
My partner is living in the past. He is boomer adjacent. He keeps saying every time we talk about Ferraris that, if it has any little mod, nobody wants it anymore. The buyers have completely changed. It's younger people that are out buying these 3-pedal cars. They don't care about originality at all. What do you guys think? Paul, you get the first shot at this. We're not talking about numbers yet. Just give us your opinion on this car and what do you think of this listing?
Ooh, I am all about this car. I love the gold wheels. I do think that it needs the mods to be tempting for these older cars to be interesting to drive, to be reliable, because otherwise I would just see an old Ferrari that I'm going to have to dump a bunch of money into. So I'm looking at it very pragmatically, thinking, all right, this is going to run. Can we call it turnkey at this point? I'm kind of all about this thing. And Anthony Vieira, 1975 on the chat here. I'm all about the Mondial hardtop, and thank you for mentioning that.
It's pronounced Mondial. Come on,
Mondial.
Todd. What do you think of the Dino?
I think these are underappreciated, but I think they're underappreciated by the Ferrari faithful. And so I wonder if the people that are going, that's a Ferrari. Oh, that's cool looking. I mean, it has that, and they're not direct connection here, but it has that aesthetic that also makes the DeLorean cool. That super boxy 70s aesthetic. It has that I think is really intriguing, and nothing else looks like that now. And I think these are fantastic and overlooked and somewhat forgotten. Let's assume, and I'm making a big assumption here, let's assume that the mods make this drivable. And if that's what makes this drivable, and I'm putting reliable in huge air quotes, if it makes it more reliable than if it were stock, I think this has a chance to go for some decent money. And I also have to say, side note, if you hadn't told me Wichita, Kansas, I would never have guessed that from those photos. That is like the nicest Wichita, Kansas has ever looked.
Truth. JP, have you ever been to Wichita, Kansas?
I don't know. I think I drove through and it was like, hey, wait. Yeah. And then it was back to the cornfields and just driving in a straight line somewhere.
I took the 70 across Kansas one time, but we didn't stop. We waited. Yeah, we waited to pee.
Here's our old black one. I definitely missed this car. Deeb, what do we think it's going to bring? Man.
Yeah. All right. So again, 75s are series 1s. And so We got the ROW, the rest of the world motor, and then they built this motor up. So even though the motor that was in there was better than all the other later GT4 Dinos, this one's probably making close to 300 horsepower, and it's got Coney suspension and a rear sway bar and the Lancia Stratos and all this stuff. Super cool car, JP. The question is, you think that the mods enhance the value? I disagree. So Classic.com tells us that the average selling price of a 308 GT4 Dino is $69,000 in the secondary market. Our car is off to a very decent start. Currently, the hammer, the pot for this car, is sitting at $55,000. That comes to us by way of 7 bids, and the car does not close until Friday, January 16th. JP, despite the car being off to a good start, I do think the mods are going to hold it back. So at $69,000, I'm going to say that the car goes to $68,308, where it hammers and sells and proves my point that the car wasn't worth any more money because of the mods. So I think 70 is all the money for this car. He might be looking for more because of the motor. And if there's a few smart guys out there that know what the motor is worth, they'll pay close to 100 grand for it. I just don't think this one. I think this one's a little too polarizing, a little too Kansas, and it's early in the year. I just don't see it happening, my feeling. So 68,308 to you, John. 69 is the average. Our car's at 55. What's your bid?
I don't know. These, here we have the hosts from Everyday Driver. They're a pair of hosts. I don't know. This question goes out to both of you guys, Todd and Paul. Does your partner ever put words in your mouth? Does it drive you nuts when he has no ability to listen? He just projects his own nonsense. I did not say that the mods will enhance the value. I said they won't hurt it. I said that unlike, back in the olden days when the Ferrari guys with their pleated shorts and their white socks and their loafers and they creeped out with their little walkers like, that's not the right bolt on the thing with the thing. Look, it's a completely different set of buyers. These wheels look awesome. This car is hot. I think all the mods are great. I don't think they're going to add value to this car. I think they're just getting more attention to this listing. The only thing that I don't like about the mods is those stupid sheepskins. Apparently, the reason why there were no photos in the car, they didn't take the sheepskins off because you have to take the whole damn seat out and disassemble the seats in order to get them off. Why did you even put them on in the first place? That's like a boomer putting plastic on their couch. I think this car is going to hit it. I'm going $89,308. And who wants to go first? I'm going to just say Todd. How about you, Todd? Go.
Okay, well, apparently we're ending all our bids in 308, so I'll stay with the trend.
Well,
I'm going to do 74 grand, 74,308. I think it breaks 70, but I think 75 is going to be too rich. 74,308.
Very good, Paul. Your turn.
Man, I'm going back and forth. I think the mods support a good price. I'm with you, JP. I think there's support there because, buyer, you don't have to do anything. We're calling it turnkey, and I'm going to go 77,308 and call it done.
There you go. All right. We're all over the place. High 60s, all through the 70s, and high 80s. JP is all in on this thing. I tell you what, Yuri's got a 308 GT4 Dino, a 1975, that he'll be looking to sell after his motor gets rebuilt. And he'll be thrilled if this car gets to JP's number or higher. And it could happen because the motor, I think, is going to drive the car, or drive the value of the car, I should say. But that's a good one to cover. That was a lot of fun. JP, final thoughts?
Yeah, money's not worth anything, so prices are going up, so they just got to go up. All right, what do you guys think the little Dino will bring? Let us know in the comments. We've got the Nerd Herd is all over the place on this one, but check out the Look, guys, if you're watching the show, by the way, if you're watching this live, if you're here because of Todd and Paul, and you're like going, hey, Todd and Paul are great. These other two guys are jerks. There is a great group of guys hanging out right now in the live chat. Go in there and introduce yourself. You're going to make great friends. Unlike Paul and Todd's show, who have millions and millions of people watching them, and when you watch them live, there's just too many people. You can still actually meet people in our chat, and sometimes we'll even put your comments on the screen. We're that small that we can still do that sort of thing. And while you're at it, go check out hippiesips.com and get yourself a case of Hippie Sips. That's THC-infused beverages that are changing social drinking. Check out hippiesips.com. All right, let's get to the next car. Michael D., what do we got?
All right, JP, we are going to check in on a car that Chris Carbine selected for us that he's not selling this time. JP, feast your eyes on a 1978 Porsche 911 SC Targa that has been owned by the seller for the last 35 years. Our car is out of Woodstock, Georgia. That's funny. I thought Woodstock was much further north, but what do I know? I'm a West Coaster. Our car is now showing 121,000 miles, and our car looks very handsome in sienna metallic paint with a contrasting cork leather upholstery. And JP, check it out. It's on 15-inch ATS cookie cutters. Super cool listing. Not listing, super cool colorway for the car. The listing is kind of meh. They shot this car out in the woods of Georgia and in their driveway. They did not spend a lot of money on the assets, and I think that will come back to bite them. JP, very interesting car. It's got miles. It looks like it got miles. It doesn't look like somebody over the last 35 years has spent any money to sort of update or maintain the car and keep it going. The door pockets are bowing. This car certainly wouldn't have come with a leather dashboard or a dashboard cover in black. This car absolutely would have had a cork dashboard. So quite a few things have been changed over the years. It looks like a pretty clapped out set of Fuchs come with the car, which is nice. This would be, I think, a good car that you would have to sort of classify as a project. I wouldn't assume that this is a car from California that I would go to Georgia with my podcast partner and drive it home to either Las Vegas or San Francisco. This is a car I would truck and expect to send some money on and kind of go through almost everything. And it just looks a little rough. Interesting car, could be a great value for somebody. And SCs, JP will tell you all day long, are fantastic cars. This would be a great way at a value to enter Porsche air-cooled ownership. But this car, just my gut feeling, JP, is this car is going to require a couple of bucks. What do you think when you look at this car, sugar scoops and an aftermarket stereo and da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da? Again, total opportunity to get one cheap, but this one's not going to ring any bells.
Yeah, this listing has a lot of challenges as well beyond the photos and the actual issues with the car. This car is in Georgia, and in the comments it's noted that there is no title for this car. This is on Georgia registration. Well, hold on here, you guys. You're all going, well, wait a minute. What the hell? This is impossible, right? It turns out, and I'd never heard of this, and maybe you guys know this because you're bigger YouTubers than us, but apparently in Georgia, and even in other states, I've never left this room, in other states, specifically in Georgia, you don't need a title. And on certain years of cars from, I think it's 85 or 86 and older, they don't even issue titles on classic cars in that state anymore. So if you buy this car, know that you're going to get a registration. Now, don't fret. I went and checked the robots. I asked Grok, what the hell do you do if you want to register a car from Georgia in your own state? No problem. Just go to the DMV in Georgia and apply for a new title, which will only take 7 to 10 days and in some cases up to 2 months. But no big deal. I mean, come on. Oh, and by the way, you have to have a VIN inspection from a Georgia state VIN inspector, which you'll need to make an appointment on, which is often backed up. I don't know how this person sells this car. Todd, what do you think of that? I don't know. What do you think of the car, and do you think it's worth going through all that trouble to get this thing?
What I'm wondering when I look at this, what's it up to right now?
35.
Do people even know of this problem in the listing?
See, that goes back to my commentary earlier where the old Porsches go for more than I expect them to. My suspicion here is with the mileage and the look of it, I think this thing just runs. I think it's one of those cars that they just drove and didn't keep precious. And so I'm going to push back on one comment you said, and that is I think you could fly to this car and drive it home. I don't think it's going to be grand. But I think it's going to run the whole way. I think it's going to surprise you. But if you're going to do anything other than just buy this to drive it, I think you've done it wrong. This is an opportunity to get into an air-cooled Porsche that you can just use. And if something breaks, you just fix it. Frankly, I think 35 is already too high based on what I think these should be worth and the fact that you have these title issues. But knowing that these always defy anything I think they're going to do,
we're not ready for numbers yet. Don't give it. We'll give you guys last numbers. Yeah, we just want opinions.
All right.
Yeah. Paul, what do you think of this listing?
I think this car is going to run. I do. I think it's just going to keep going.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah,
so, actually, I just, it sounds like Todd and I are flying out to get this car and driving it back because Dave's just too chicken-ish to do it. All right, Paul, what do you think of this listing? What do you think about this title nonsense? What's that all about? Have you heard of that?
I suppose if that's a thing in Georgia, then all right, we'll embrace that. At first blush, that was a bit off-putting. That was a little bit of a surprise there, and okay, but if that's, I guess, buying it out and driving it outside of Georgia, if you don't have a title, what happens? What did Grok tell you? Because if you drive to any other state, what are they going to ask for at the DMV? Your bill of sale and
registration apparently is what they do in Georgia, but I don't know how many teeth those guys have. I don't know how this works, Deeb. I don't know what we do here.
Here's the thing though that I keep thinking, and I want to say this so that we can all be shocked for a second. Keep in mind that in most states, to have a classic car designation, it's got to be more than 25 years old. Well, folks, that gets us to the year 2000. So we are so much older than that. We're into that weird place. And I think every state's just different. I think Utah, where we are, has some weird rules too. Once you get past 30, 40 years, it becomes the Wild West. Every state has weird exceptions where they're just I don't care anymore, just whatever you want to do. So who knows what this does in your current state. I think whatever the buyer is going to figure out what their state's weirdness is for a car that's this old.
Who wants to be like Canada? They don't even have titles at all for any cars up there, and that's a third world country. Yeah. All right, Deeb, what is this gonna wind up? What's gonna happen? How is this gonna happen? Right. What's the number?
So JP, it's really interesting too. Only 60 photos in the bucket of photos. This is absolutely owner sold. And there are a couple of pictures where he got under the car and snap the motor. The motor is absolutely dry, so I'm going to have to acquiesce to Todd's take. I do think you could drive this car home. It looks like it is truly a runner. It's just cosmetically, we all want our Porsches to be ours and a little more fun than this. Our car is currently sitting at $35,000 and has 2 days to go until it closes. Our friends at Classic.com remind us that the average selling price of an SC Targa in the secondary market is a whopping $55,000. On average. JP, I think our car is going to split the difference between those two. My bid is going to be $45,911 at Hammer, and I think that if he gets that number, he got everything he could possibly get out of it, and the person who buys it will have a pretty decent value with a rare shade, which is very important to the PCA people, right, JP?
Yeah, I think the people who are watching, I don't think anyone's paying attention to this ad just yet. I think it's going to come down like it always does on BAT to the last, call it couple of hours. The real bidders, the real buyers will start really digging into the ad to make sure that this is something that they want to bid on. When they discover this whole title thing, I think that's going to freak everyone out, and I think that's going to this is going to hit the brakes on this listing. I'm going to go $39,999 and say, I'm sorry, $39,911 and say it doesn't sell unless it's no reserve. Paul, you get the first bid. What do you think?
I am going, see, the ride height is skeezing me out. That is not looking, that looks strange to me. That must be the
American.
It's a Safari, man. What are you talking about? That's hip.
Yeah, that is not the Euro ride height. You're going to have to, there's money that's going to have to be put into this for any Porsche enthusiast to make it right. And so for that reason, I'm only going 41,320 because,
Todd,
we'll do that.
What's your number?
I'm going to guess higher than I want to because these cars always sell for more than I think makes sense. I'm going to say 47 grand.
Woo-wee. All right. All right, Todd.
We've got some numbers here. He could be right. I don't think that number's off if the title issue wasn't an issue. I think this car could be worth even more if it wasn't this, the nonsense of trying to get this thing into another state. How do you even have it I don't know. This is going to be a really interesting one.
Very odd.
Right? Thank you. Yeah. All right. We got to do speed round, Deeb. We still have a few cars to go, so let's just start hitting them. What's the next car on the list?
All right, JP. Right now on Bring a Trailer as a premium listing is this beautiful and eye-watering 1988 Lamborghini Jalpa with just 5,900 kilometers on the odometer from new. A car that was supposed to be their entry-level exotic. Turns out between 1981 and 1988, Lamborghini only built 410 of these for the world. All of these cars came with carburetors, but our car has been treated to a fuel injection conversion. And then the other thing that really catches your eye is that those beautiful OZ wheels have been painted yellow to match the rest of the car. Feast your eyes on the inside, and the black leather interior also has yellow piping. So this car is really for the nouveau riche, if you know what I mean. JP, our friends at Classic.com tell us that the Lamborghini Jalpa in the secondary market typically goes for $90,000. Our car is currently sitting at $77,000, and it closes in 2 days. JP, that 77 grand comes to us by 20 bids. So there's a lot of action on this car because I really think the low odometer makes this car pretty collectible. And Lamborghinis today are selling for hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars. So it's one of those things, JP, where I think the tide rises all ships. The average selling price of a Jalpa is 90 grand. This one's got fuel injection and an almost incredibly low odometer. JP, I think this car brings $100,000 when it hammers 2 days from now. So we're at 77. My bid is 100. What's yours?
$50,000 Murciélago went for 900 grand plus. This particular car is absolutely gorgeous, and I've always liked this more. I've always liked the Jalpa more than the Countach. I think this car is just gorgeous, and I think I'm going over 100. I'm going 120 and handing it to Todd. What's your bid? And what do you think of the car?
These are one of those things like the original Dinos where people ignored them for years and now they're swinging the other way. So it's probably going to go for a lot more than I think, but I think the all yellow is going to be polarizing. I think it's going to limit the number of bidders. So I'm going to say 95.
95 is
Excellent
a good bid.
We all often say that yellow is a challenging color. All right. Well, and I'm surprised my partner didn't go, oh, it's going to hold it back. They changed the color of the original wheels. It can't be not original. Paul, what do you think the number is, and what do you think of the car?
I like the car. If you haven't, have you ever seen a Jalpa in person? They are wider than you think. Yeah. They're striking. They've got presence. In person, these things are pretty cool looking, and I'm going high on this because Lambo, because low miles. I'm going 135,000.
Oh, he's going over me. And I was taking the high position. Come on, he's coming in and killing us our own show.
If a Lamborghini, if a Lamborghini Jalpa is going to bring that kind of money, it'll probably be this one. So you guys are in good shape. But JP, if you could pick up this car for 50 grand, LS3, the world, I mean, wouldn't that be like the ultimate? Because like they said, this car is gorgeous in person.
There's no $50,000 Jalpas. All right. Will this thing pass emissions with that updated fuel injection? Will it pass emissions in California? That's another question that needs to be answered.
Probably,
all right. Next car. Quick. What do we got?
All right, JP, who's our good friend? Lucas selected the Jalpa. Lucas selected for us this 1991 Dodge Stealth RT Turbo 5-speed manual owned by the same family for the last 23 years. The big news here, JP, is we've got a car with a couple of mods, but really the big news is the 113,000 miles on the odometer. Listed out of Platteville, Louisiana. Our car is white on white on white. These cars aren't worth money when they have no miles on them. What are you going to pay for one that's got all the miles on them? JP, our car is sitting at $4,000, but it's got 4 days to go until it closes. Our friends at Classic.com say, hey, dude, 20 grand for your RT Turbo. I think this one would be lucky to get to 11. So, JP, our pot is at 4. I'm going to say 11 at Hammer. Where are you?
Well, I think our intern is going to take that entire check that the hosts from Everyday Driver sent them and spend it on this car, which was nothing. I'm going 5 grand and handing it off to Todd. What do you think?
I just,
Come on, it looks great in white. Look at that. It's white. It's all white.
White on white on white. And the Stealth is the less beloved version of the 3000 GT, which is also a tough sell. So it's at 4 already. I can't in good conscience go above 7,500. I think this is a tough one to move.
Yep. Paul?
I am with you on that. It's not the hot one that everybody wanted. So Stealth RT, and it looks a little rough. At least like power wash the engine bay, guys. I mean, come on, do something to like spruce it up a little bit. But 4,000 seems a little high to me, so I'm going. I'll give you another grand on top of that. See that's going to need some cleaning right there.
JP is already occupying 5,000 even. So
are you 5,000 even? Then I will go.
Yeah.
I'm going 40. I can't go 5. I got to go 4,700. I think the bidding's going to slow way down.
Smart move. I think we put a 70-gallon tank in it and put Ed Bolian in there, and we'll get all the money for it. All right, last car, Michael Deeb. Do we have time? Yeah, let's do one more car. Speed round. What do we got?
All right, our friends at Avant-Garde 911R are showing as an alumni listing this 1972 Porsche 914 that has been treated to GT flares, all kinds of suspension and cool interior. But the big news is the built 2.4-liter motor that is under the hood. These guys make some of the best assets. Some of the best assets on the internet. If you have a minute, go to this listing and look at one or two of their driving videos. The sound that this motor makes will get you to go grab your checkbook and pull it out. JP, our friends at classic.com have a column for modified 914s, and that number is a lowly $49,000. Our car is currently sitting at $91,460, and it hammers tomorrow. But that motor is everything. JP, I want to say it's probably a $60,000 motor. If I was to guess, and it's magnesium. This car is light. I'm sure it handles. JP, I'm all in on this car. I think from 91, when it hammers tomorrow, the final bid is going to be around $119,140. So we're at 91, JP. Where are you going to land?
What was your number? One more time. What?
119, 140.
119. Yeah, I'm gonna go pretty high over you. I'm gonna go 139.14. Hand it off to Todd.
Wow, I think the story of the engine and the reworking of this is what makes it valuable, and the fact that it's that high already, that kind of astonishes me. I think this breaks 100 and then slows down fast, so I'm gonna say 104. There
you go.
Paul, what's your number?
This is trying to do the singerized thing to 914s. There have been other nice ones, but this is way up there. The engine, that's what the singers are all about, and this one is trying to do that. So I'm going to go high. This could crack 130, I think. I'm going to go 135.
Man, all right. Keeps going over me, Deeb. What is going on? Did you pay him? Did you actually pay him?
That's what that feels like. That's what that feels like.
Yeah, I'm getting whooped over here. All right, guys. Paul and Todd, thank you so much for hanging out with us on an episode of Bid Nerds. Anything you want to plug? I know you have some drives coming up, and everybody knows your show, but tell us anything that you want to tell us before we get on out of here.
We're doing one podcast a week on YouTube, everydaydriver.com. You can find everything. Of course, Everyday Driver is also our YouTube channel, so big comparisons there, big road trip films coming up this year. But I'm going to plug, I'm wearing the shirt actually. You probably can't read it, but it's our pilgrimage trip, which is the Ring and Spa. We go every year. We're going the first week of August this year. You can actually go to our website and find up signups for that. That gets you 2 days of driving on Spa, 1 day of driving on a track day on the Ring. We take care of you. It's all inclusive. We just opened that. That's why it's on my mind. We just opened that trip for registration yesterday. And so if you ever wanted to go, you should go with us. It's a phenomenal trip. We go every year and we love it.
What time of year are you guys going?
We're going first week of August this year. It's going to be spectacular.
First week of August. And what website do we go to sign up for that or get the information?
Simplest place is go to everydaydriver.com and go to the adventures page. You'll see the listing right there. It'll get you walking through it. And everything's provided. Car, instructor, helmet, instruction around the Ring and Spa, everything.
Yeah. Perhaps two of the most legendary racetracks in the world. That's awesome. What a great trip.
It's amazing.
That sounds like fun. Yeah. Bucket list stuff.
For sure. Guys, thank you so much to your incredible audience. I'm seeing the chat on
thank
here.
You.
We really, really appreciate it. And come on an adventure. We've got a couple of U.S. adventures also on the Everyday Driver website. And, of course, hookedondriving.com for track day near you. And, we really enjoyed this, guys. This is pretty awesome.
Thanks, man. We'd love to have you guys back.
Community.
I'm looking at all my. I don't see the invitation to be on your podcast anywhere over here.
Noted. Very well noted. Good job.
It's like family. Yeah.
Well done.
See you next time, guys.